Morning, good morning. I figured a little twist on things and dress up as something different today. So we're continuing the halachas of mechira, mechiras chametz. One of the things that we have to do is we usually make it available for the guy to go ahead and have and take the chametz at any time. Therefore, on the mechira, on that paper, it says it talks about giving the access to the guy at any time. So you should write there if you're going to be staying at home, so then he's just going to knock on the door. Otherwise, he's going to go ahead and you should write down on the paper, if you're not home, where your keys will be or something like that, in somebody's house or something, or give it to myself or give it to a neighbor so the guy can have access to the chametz. There are various minhagim based on whether or not a person sells pure chametz or not, chametz gomer. There's different minhagim both ways. Some people rely on this mechira even for the regards to chametz gomer. The best idea would be that if it's only a small package of cookies or something like that, it's not a major chametz. So then usually we try to say don't sell chametz gomer, but otherwise. If it's a large loss, so then we say, go ahead and you could sell chametz gomer. Generally, what I do is, I feel bad to throw out these tons of chametz, so you donate to the chesed fund. You have packages of food or something like that. So if they're open, if they're closed, then donate it to the chesed fund. You get it hurts to throw out a huge package of cookies or whatever. So donate it to the chesed fund, and therefore it doesn't hurt so much. And with regards to open packaged cookies, anyways, you shouldn't rely on the chametz gomer. So it doesn't hurt as much to throw out a half-stale package of cookies that was open since Hanukkah. With regards to but the ma'aseh, the halacha is that if a person wants to rely on the mechira, even for chametz gomer, there are enough people that are mekel even with regards to chametz gomer. And also has to make sure also that when he sells his chametz, he sells the chametz that exists in his car, in his office. He should write it down, especially if he's not doing a bedika on it, or if it's a large office. So he's got to sell the whole office building, or his dorm room, or his any other place that he might have. He should include it in the shtar. You should also know that just because if he's an adult, he's got to start taking some responsibilities. His parents' mechira will not help for him. If a person is an adult, he's got to make his own mechira. If your parents, you like to do everything else on your own, you can't rely on your parents' mechira. It just simply won't work. You can't sell your stuff, and therefore, if a person, any adult child has got to go ahead and not rely, make his own mechira. Everybody's got to make their own mechira with their own shtar, and delineate in there anywhere where chametz might exist. One of the interesting things is that we don't sell chametz chametz pots and things like that, because if you would sell it, then when you buy it back, you'd have to be toivel them. Instead, what we do is we write chametz in the pots. That's what we write in the shtar. Nevertheless, if you don't do it, there's no problem about bal yiroeh. As long as the pots are put away and they're not going to be used, there's no problem to bal yiroeh, because so long as the pots are clean and there's no real chametz in there, you're not over bal yiroeh on the blias, on little pieces of chametz inside the pots, and you don't have to be worried about it. L'maisa, there is I believe our shtar says chametz in the pots. If a person does sell the chametz, he's got to be careful that it's closed off. It's marked off in a room that says this room has been sold, and you have to understand that you rented that room to somebody. So now, if you want to run in there for 1 second, so then you could have assumed that the guy's not going to care. He knows he really bought it. He legally bought it. It's his room. But imagine you call the guy up at 2 a.m. Listen, I left my baby's pacifier in there. Can I go get it? He's going to let. So you can assume that for these type of things he will let. So you can go in there, but you can't just make use of that room. First of all, because you need to make anyways. First of all, because you need to make a hefsek between you and the chametz, and second of all, it's not your room. So for occasional, just running in there for a second to use, you could go in there and use it, but you cannot use it on a long term without speaking to the guy. It's his room, and so it has to be marked off. This room has been sold. Additionally, if you want to keep something, let's say in the fridge or something like that, that entire area has to be taped off. You can't just see this shelf is chametz and sell the shelf. If you do that, then you have to mark it off and tape it, put saran wrap there, put silver foil there in order to tape off that area and mark that area clearly as sold area. any other type of closet or something like that that exists, or if you want to sell a specific cupboards in the kitchen, so you could sell specific cupboards, but again they have to be tied shut somehow, that you know, something that will definitely help you remember. So stam writing chametz on it's probably not enough. It's got to be like that when you pull it, you're like yank it like, oh, it's, you know, it doesn't have to be drilled shut, but it's got to be tied with a rubber band or something like that, tied tightly enough that it can't be opened absent-mindedly without you remembering that it's chametz, and has to be marked off. You know, you could tape it shut, you could something like that. That would be okay, and that would be what you got to do. All right, Rabbi, say have a great day. Steig away.